Yeah, gonna have to be. Whatever, they can see it.
All right, we're finally doing Men's Mental Health. For Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, as it's literally the last 2 days of the month. Hold on, technological difficulties. Oh, sorry, I know you didn't want to be up that close and personal with me.
I like to be up at the planet and close and personal with you.
I know you do.
Sorry, a little lighthearted.
Well, she forgot her mic.
While we're about to touch on something
really heavy. So let me see your phone real quick because I sent her all this stuff and we use my phone to record. So to give you guys a little preview, of course, women's mental health we've talked about, but it's also incredibly more talked about and doesn't have as much stigma as men's mental health. With June being Men's Mental Health, it's meant to bring awareness about the unique challenges and barriers men face when dealing with mental health issues, encouraging men to seek help when needed, and promoting open discussion about mental health in general. Unfortunately, men face a lot more stigma. They're basically told to suck it up and be a man, and that there never wants to be raped or abused. And if they are abused, then why weren't they strong enough to protect themselves? Because, a man is supposed to be able to defend themselves.
They feel emasculated.
100%. Men are also more prone to commit suicide than women will ever be. If I'm not mistaken, it's statistically said about 2,000 men die every day from suicide. When you add that up, that's a really large population. So, and it's not just military where you have, every 22 seconds somebody is doing that. And you have to remember the 22. It happens for men across the globe. It happens just in general. So we had created some questions. I had created some questions with some input, and I had run it past somebody we knew from my daughter's school who was her clinical therapist. And he absolutely is amazing. He's now becoming, she's no longer under his care or at the school district or at the school in general. He's actually becoming a really good family friend. And I appreciate every input he helped us with, because I've only had a few psychology classes with sociology and stuff like that. So this isn't my forte. So to do a deep dive and to be able to come up with the questions, we had him to say that they were very insightful and we were on the right track and we were asking the right questions for men. Is as a person in general, let alone a woman who is never going to understand what a man goes through, very, very nice to hear. We did ask our family and friends who are men to answer these questions. Of course, as a precursor, the generation above us, we're 35, and then two of our friends who are closer to 40 answered, but our parents' generation, of course, flat out refused to answer these. They're very much of, you don't ever speak of your feelings, you don't talk about your feelings, and that's just their generation. That's very much, the boomers and stuff like that. And type, you don't. It is what it is. You keep on doing what you need to do, whether you can get through it or not. So I knew those people would flat out refuse. I'd hoped it would be different. I would hope in this day and age, being 2025, and them seeing how the younger generations are handling mental health and being more open, that maybe we could convince them to open up about their life experiences and the way they grew up and how they view mental health. But it just wasn't meant to be. I'm gonna do a run through of the questions so you guys know. Of course, As I do the questions again, I'll have Katie give you the answers. No one's names are going to be mentioned. We're just going to go, male 39, male 37, male 17, to give you a little bit of an idea of how people are. I do also want to preface this that one of our friends is a first responder. So their questions are answered probably a little bit differently through a different lens because of the amount of trauma and stuff they see on a daily basis at work. And mental health is very big for first responders and are not talked about enough, just based on the stuff that they have seen, whether they have lost children, they have helped women or men who have been beaten, type of thing. And it doesn't matter if they're firefighters, paramedics, cops, dispatch, military, anybody. Those statistically have higher rates of suicides alone because of what they do see when they go to work and what they hear and what they cannot get out of their head. And I know for a fact that that friend has seen some horrible things, and there are some things that haunt him. Um, so, and I know he'll watch this video, and he hates me saying this, but he's still one of my biggest heroes for everything that he does, and he provides for his community, let alone his family and his friends. He is, whether he wants to admit it or not, he is one of the strongest people I have ever had the privilege of knowing the last almost 20 years of my life. So, hats off to you. So, going through these questions.
So should I just, like, when we do question one, go through everybody?
I'm gonna give them a brief overview, like, of what the questions are. Just read them off, and then we'll go more in depth.
Okay, so I'm not doing anything. You're just reading the questions. Okay, got it.
So there are 28 questions all in total. And I guess some would think that that's a little bit excessive. But honestly, when you think about it, when you do see a mental health professional, therapist, or psychiatrist, you tend to answer a lot more than 28 questions, especially if you're going to get diagnosed with PTSD or anything else. You're easily answering 200 to 300 questions just before you even see the doctor. So they kind of get an idea, a baseline, as you would say. So the questions are, how have you been feeling lately? Is there anything stressing you out right now? What's been on your mind these days? What's been challenging you recently? Can you describe how you are feeling? How are you sleeping? How is work at the moment? How are you taking care of yourself? What support do you have in place? Are there any aspects of your daily life that you struggle with right now? Do you have a network of supportive relationship with others? Have you experienced any previous struggles with your mental health? Have you attended any previous therapy or treatment programs? Do you feel like you have someone you can talk to? Do you tend to eat too much or very little when you are feeling anxious, if you notice you are feeling anxious? Do you often have physical symptoms such as stomach aches or backaches? Do activities that you used to enjoy no longer provide as much pleasure? Do you often feel sad or empty? Have you lost interest in sex? What does happiness mean to you and how do you pursue it? How do you define success in life? What core values guide your actions and decisions? Do you have a personal philosophy that shapes your outlook on life? What do you think the purpose of life is? Have you ever thought about harming yourself? Have you ever thought about killing yourself? If you have, what stopped you and made you want to stay alive? And of course, the last question, which is incredibly important for men's health, is what has your generation or your upbringing made you look at mental health or feel about mental health, type of thing. So those are the questions, and we're gonna start off. Let's start from the very top.
Very top. Okay. Okay, right here.
So this will be male. I'm pretty sure 39, if not 40. And we'll start off with, how has he been feeling lately?
Very busy, stressed, but the stress is slowly subsiding. I've been juggling a lot lately.
Is there anything stressing him out right now?
Many things, work and how that it's affecting his family, kids, summer fun, etc. Also, his sister in a bad marriage that he can do nothing about. Also, trying to move his mother in from the other side of the country with the strict time frame. With the narrowing income due to workforce reduction. Recently went from working from home to going back to working 60 to 80-hour weeks in the field with dramatic reduction in pay, switched over from salary to hourly.
What's been on his mind lately?
Everything mentioned in answer to my kids' future and my health.
What's been challenging him recently? Number 4.
Can you tired, exhausted, drained, but also accomplished.
How is he sleeping?
Oh, see, wait, hold on.
I know he missed one.
Oh, okay.
That's fine.
So sleeping is this one. With my eyes closed, laugh out loud, but not very much due to working 16-hour shifts. I'm averaging 3 to 5 hours of sleep per night and sometimes less.
How is work at the moment for him?
Shitty, but improving and shows potential to make a turnaround.
You know what? Let's switch off.
I'm not wearing my glasses,
I know.
so.
Or do you want me to do both?
No,
okay, we're number 8.
I can read your writing.
Okay.
How are you taking care of yourself?
Sorry, I have doctor writing. He's making sure he's maintaining the bare minimum, maintaining an attention, just enough to keep the body going, to allow him to achieve what he's working towards, and he's keeping his focus on that. He's working towards this company for the stability of the company and the future for his kids.
What support do you have in place?
He has his wife, his mother, his kids, best friend, and a very small handful of close friends that are his chosen family.
Are there any aspects of your daily life that you struggle with right now?
He said sleep, energy, and remembering to try and do things for himself.
Do you have a network of supportive relationship with others?
He said absolutely. Not many at all. I can count on how many on one hand, but those few are far more valuable than having 1,000 nobodies in my life. Something that money can't buy. Only love, trust, loyalty, and mutual respect.
Have you experienced any previous struggle with your mental health?
He says yes, at times. Primarily due to alcoholism, but those issues have disappeared since I quit drinking 1.5 years ago.
Have you attended any previous therapy treatment or programs?
He says none that were necessary.
Do you feel like you have someone you can talk to?
He says, of course, everyone close in my circle because we're all a tight family.
Do you tend to eat too much or very little when you're feeling anxious?
He says too much when anxious and too little when overstressed, but I rarely feel anxious. So if I'm eating too much, it's probably because I'm stoned and ready for my daily meal.
Do you often have physical symptoms such as stomach aches or backaches?
He says yes, daily, especially the backaches.
Do activities that you used to enjoy no longer provide as much pleasure?
He said some, but not because I don't find the joy in it, but more so because my current health condition prohibits me from doing a lot of the things I enjoy to do. For example, loads of great barbecue and thrill seeking.
Do you often feel empty or sad?
He said once in a while when I'm thinking about someone I have lost.
Have you lost interest in sex? I know, negative ghostwriter.
That's a big negative ghostwriter.
What does happiness mean to you and how do you pursue it?
It means my sanity. It's achieved through personal satisfaction via accomplishing set goals and uplifting those around me when I can.
How do you define success in life?
If you're flooded with an unbreakable love and support network that you've spent so hard over the years to create to fill in a piece of your life that felt absent, especially during childhood.
What core values guide your actions and decisions?
In my younger years, I would act on impulse and thrive on conflict. We can confirm that.
Yeah.
Now I just ask myself, is it really worth going to jail? And what would Obi-Wan do?
Is Jordan still in the bathroom?
No.
No.
Sorry.
That was nephew. He forgot we were making a video.
I poked my head in and said something. It's okay.
It's okay. You now got to hear our nephew's voice. Trust me, he's as handsome as he sounds, young ladies. Anyways.
Did you finish that answer?
Yes,
okay.
23.
Do you have a personal philosophy that shapes your outlook on life?
He said a few. 1, don't sweat the petty shit. Pet the sweaty shit. 2, yeah, I can see him saying that to my face too.
Yep.
Especially with that 3rd video that's coming out this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It's mind over matter. I don't mind because you don't matter. He definitely needs to remind me of that more often. He's like, ultimately, meaning I don't give a damn what you think about it. I'm going to do what I want and what I want for my family, regardless. 3, don't let anyone rent space in your head for free.
What do you think the purpose of life is?
To reproduce and make the best of your life while passing along the knowledge and wisdom you gained over your lifespan with the goal to continuously work on quality of life. Life is too short and precious to be pissed off or sad all the time. Don't waste the time you have on this earth and just embrace it and make the best of it because it will be over one day, and I'd rather be able to die with a smile and have, hold on, I somehow missed a few of his answers. Be right back. And we're back.
Technical difficulty, it's okay.
I missed a small section of questions to filter over to her phone since everything was on mine.
Well, we should, yeah, we kind of can't use your phone since we use it for this. But,
yeah, 100%.
Okay. Anyways, 25.
Yep.
Have you ever thought about harming yourself?
You said I have, and some of my low points when drunk and on a bender.
Have you ever thought about killing yourself?
Yes. Same answer as above question.
If you have, what stopped you and what made you want to stay alive?
You said it's complicated to answer that and would take some time. But to sum it up, I stopped due to pride and fear for the impact it would have on the lives of those in my life and make it of those in my life. Okay? And the final question. How has your generation that you come from shaped how you view mental health? It's not written down there. I added it. Sorry. I added it as like a last second thing. How has your generation that you come from shaped how you view mental health and talking about your feelings? And based on that, do you still find it hard to be open with others because of it? He said, that's a hard question to answer. I'm a millennial myself, but most of my core values and traits align with the baby boomers and Generation X. I'm an asshole. Again, can confirm. I'm strong-willed, was raised to never talk about my feelings, but I've learned through the years the importance of having someone in your life you can open up to, and the joy you get from sharing that trust with another is invaluable. No memento. Sorry, we're doing another technical difficulty, but since I added that last question and at the last second, I'm going to text it to myself because it's not written down in that book for her. Sorry. You know, you get the unfiltered process of us, which is fine. What does Hippo want now?
No, she was asking if it was lunchtime.
Oh.
Yes, it is, but if she wants something, you're gonna have to make it for her. Unfortunately. Okay, cool. And that was the end of the first one for male 39.
So if those ones are shorter, I could probably do that one.
Now we're on to male 17. How has he been feeling lately?
I have been feeling good for the most part.
And before we continue, we did tell them that if anything was uncomfortable or didn't apply to them, they could just skip And we will let you know if they did skip any of those questions.
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything stressing you out right now?
No.
What's been on your mind these days?
Riding dirt bikes.
17 years old.
I
What's been challenging you recently?
am feeling energized. But that's 4. So I'm guessing something that has been challenging for me is staying home.
How is he sleeping?
I'm sleeping 7 to 8 hours a night.
How is work at the moment? We're skipping that because he doesn't work.
The dino nuggets are in the garage freezer.
Garage freezer.
Yes, I figured that.
Sorry. You're going to get some stuff where we have kids and it's summertime. So, unfortunately,
it's unapologetically our household.
Yeah, right now we got 4 kids under the roof, 3 teenagers, 1 6-year-old, and the 6-year-old is the hippo, and hungry. Okay. Literally in an hour, she'll be telling us she's hungry again.
100%. Number 8.
How are you taking care of yourself?
I am just going day by day and doing the things that I like. I don't know if he like these seem like they're in different order.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
9. What support do you have in place?
My family.
Are there any aspects of your daily life that you struggle with right now?
No.
She and I both know that's a lie, but we're going to let that one slide.
Yeah.
11. Do you have a network of supportive relationships with others?
Yes.
Yes, what?
Just yes.
Oh,
unless...
Yeah, you're right. 11 is yes. 12. Have you experienced any previous struggles with your mental health?
No.
Again, we know that that's a lie, but we're going to let it slide. 13. Have you attended any previous therapy or treatment programs?
Family therapy.
14. Do you feel like you have someone you can talk to?
Yes, I have aunts and uncles.
15. Do you tend to eat too much or very little when you feel anxious?
Sometimes.
17-year-olds. Very straight to the point or mask.
Mm-hmm.
16. Do you often have physical symptoms such as stomach aches or backaches?
No.
17. Do activities that you used to enjoy no longer provide as much pleasure?
Depends on what it is.
18. Do you often feel empty or sad?
No.
19. Have you lost interest in sex? He definitely said skip on that one. He sure as hell isn't going to tell us about it.
No, not at all.
That's more, he goes to one of his uncles for that one. 20. What does happiness mean to you and how do you pursue it?
Happiness to me means something I did good with, and the ways I pursue it is try to get stuff done and enjoy free time.
21. How does he define success in life?
There is no 21. It goes from 20 to 22.
He missed. Okay, that's fine. 22. What core values guide your actions and decisions?
At times, my feelings are what make people happy. Or maybe he just didn't number them right.
23. Do you have a personal philosophy that shapes your outlook on life? No, he doesn't.
Okay.
24. What do you think the purpose of life is?
The purpose of life is to live with no regrets about the past, since it's something you can't change.
I like that.
I like that answer too.
For 17, he can be incredibly wise. We're going to leave it at that. 25. Have you ever thought about harming yourself?
No.
26. Have you ever thought about killing yourself?
No.
27. If you have, what have stopped you and made you want to stay alive? That's going to be skipped
because the previous answer was no.
No. And then, of course, the final question. How has your generation that you come from shaped how you view mental health and talking about your feelings? And based on that, do you still find it hard to be open with others because of it?
With my generation, kids have a hard time to say how they feel, just like how I have a hard time doing so at times, unless people pry it out of me and keep asking questions. That is the most honest answer I have ever heard.
100%.
Because some don't talk about it unless you poke and prod, and it might make them angry, but that's how
resentful too. Also, you can pry those answers out, and kids can just tell you what you want to hear sometimes, which is why we said
we call bullshit on a couple of them.
on some of them.
But that's okay. That is okay.
Again, these are people we know and love. So when we say that with all the love in our heart because we know them like the back of our hands at this point.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That is the one that was for the 17-year-old male. This is
36 male.
37.
36.
Oh, he's not 37 yet.
Nope.
That's at the end of July. 36-year-old male. How has he been feeling lately?
Stressed.
Is there anything stressing him out right now?
Splitting my time up for the family's needs.
What's been on his mind these days?
How do I do better?
What's been challenging him recently?
A little stress, a lot of joy, and thankfulness.
Can he describe how he is feeling?
Wait.
5.
Oh, he must have did it backwards too.
Yep.
Okay,
So what's been challenging him recently?
Work, trying to move up. And then that question was a little stress, a lot of joy, and thankfulness. He swapped the answers.
Apparently, everybody we've been asking these questions to are slightly dyslexic and swapping things around. It's okay.
Make it more challenging for us. It's good. It's good content. It's good content.
It's fine. We're women. We can figure it out. We got brains. More than them. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, we do share brain cells. So.
That's according to Dad. Yeah, he says we share brain cells. This is where we get off topic. Sorry.
Okay, 6.
6. How is he sleeping?
Not as long as I should, but restful when I do.
7. How is work at the moment?
Trying to move up, taking on more tasks to do so.
How is he taking care of himself?
Starting to exercise and eating better.
Yes, he is. 9. What support does he have in place?
My wives and my family.
Well, that just totally gave it away.
Well, he shouldn't have put it out there like that.
If anybody's watched the previous episodes, you now know who that is. Sorry, not sorry. 8. How are you? Oh, no, that was
10.
10. We're at 10. See, I'm getting so lost. Are there any aspects of your daily life that you struggle with right now?
Just trying to find time for everyone and everything.
Does he have a network of supportive relationship with others in place?
My family.
Has he ever experienced any previous struggles with his mental health?
Yes.
Has he ever attended any previous therapy or treatment programs?
As a kid.
Does he feel like he has someone he can talk to?
Yes.
Does he tend to eat too much or very little when he's feeling anxious?
No, maybe an extra sweet or 2 sometimes.
Does he often have physical symptoms such as stomach aches or backaches?
No.
Do activities that he used to enjoy no longer provide as much pleasure to him?
No, don't have much time for them at the moment.
Does he often feel empty or sad?
Certain parts of my needs sometimes run empty, but are filled shortly thereafter I vocalize it.
Does he often feel empty or sad?
Nope.
Why can I hear that in his voice the way you did that?
That's exactly why I did it.
I know. 19. Has he lost interest in sex? 19. That's a no. See, no.
Wait.
Yeah, he missed some too. Okay, anyways. So that was 9. So the 19 for the lost interest in sex was a nope. Okay, anyways. 20. What does happiness mean to you and how do you pursue it?
Time with my family and enjoying our hard-earned rewards.
How does he define success in life?
A happy, strong family.
What core values guide his actions and decisions?
Work hard and have faith it will be rewarded to you tenfold.
Does he have a personal philosophy that shapes his outlook on life?
That's 23, right?
Yep.
Not really.
24. What do you think the purpose of life is?
Bring joy and help others.
25. Has he ever thought about harming himself?
No.
26. Has he ever thought about killing himself?
No.
So 27 is
It's
a skip,
not applicable.
which means, final question. How has your generation that you come from shaped how you view mental health and talking about your feelings? And based on that, do you still find it hard to be open with others because of it?
It's helped me drive past my harsh, short-time thought and understand they don't define what I'm truly feeling. Rather, it makes me hurt at that moment, and there are actions that can fix it.
Okay, I'm gonna read the next one because those are really long answers.
Yes.
Hold on, we have nephew interrupting us again. Be right back. Yes, honey. Oh, you just want to listen? Okay.
Okay.
This is the other 39 male.
How have you been feeling lately?
He's been feeling okay.
Is there anything stressing you out right now?
He says, I'm struggling with my diet on my own and worry that I'm letting my family and myself down.
What's been on your mind these days?
He's worried about his future.
What's been challenging you recently? That's 4.
He said, I'm happy with my progress, but still sad with where I allowed myself to get. Because at this point, and I worry that I will get back to that point since every time I've lost weight, I've gained it back and then some.
5. Can you describe how you are feeling?
I think he did that too.
4 and 5. Did he put 4 and 5 together?
4 should be number 5, and 5 right now is number 4. What's challenging him is my diet and my workout.
Okay. 6. Oh my gosh. All of them so far.
6 is,
how are you sleeping?
He says, I sleep well when I do sleep, but my sleep schedule is erratic. This is the first responder friend.
How is work at the moment?
He said, work is okay. I constantly think of getting more involved in the company, but never actually commit to doing anything about it. Just a lack of confidence.
How are you taking care of yourself?
He says, I wish I had taken better care of myself in the past. I am still working out and trying to be better about my food choices.
What support do you have in place?
He says, I have great support from my family. I know my friends would be there for me if I asked. Damn straight we would be, and why aren't you asking?
Hello?
Rude.
Absolutely.
The indignity.
10. Are there any aspects of your daily life that you struggle with right now?
He says, I struggle with my mental health. As I said, I'm happy with the progress I've made and want to continue on my path to being healthy. I would like to get back to a place where I can love myself again.
Do you have a network of supportive relationships with others?
He said, I'm not good at keeping in touch with people I care about. Not intentionally, just not good at communicating. I can confirm because I used to have to tell him whose birthday it was, when to do stuff, whose anniversary. I was like his little brain, like she's my brain now. So I can 100% confirm that.
Have you experienced previous struggles with your mental health? Any previous struggles with your mental health?
12.
Yes.
I struggle with depression, saying that is not easy for me at all.
Have you attended any previous therapy or treatment programs?
No, I have never been in therapy.
14. Do you feel like you have someone you can talk to?
I know I have so many people that would be there for me if I asked, but I will never ask. You better ask. Now I'm gonna be up your butt, dude. I'm gonna be
poking and prodding. 15. Do you tend to eat too much or very little when you are feeling anxious?
He says, I don't believe my eating habits are due to being anxious. I just overeat the food I like, which is typically not healthy food. Can also confirm. Carne con broccoli, or chicken con broccoli, carne con papas. What else is there?
Topic.
Marry me chicken. All the things that I absolutely love and I know. Yes, off topic, but continue.
16. Do you often have physical symptoms such as stomach aches or backaches?
He says I have no symptoms that he's aware of.
17. Do activities that you used to enjoy no longer provide as much pleasure?
He says I struggle with frustration, not being able to do activities I used to be able to do due to my weight gain. I'm hoping to get back to a place where I can enjoy those activities again without feeling weak.
Do you often feel empty or sad?
I would say empty is the feeling I'm most familiar with. I don't get sad unless I really think about it, which I typically won't let myself do. Sorry.
Have you lost interest in sex?
He says, I have an unhealthy addiction to porn and masturbation. I am very interested in sex, but lack any confidence and am scared of performance issues.
What does happiness mean to you, and how do you pursue it?
Happiness for me would be to be healthy and in shape again. The ability to love myself again. Once I'm able to love myself, I feel like I can be open to feeling love from others.
How do you define success in life?
Hold on. What number was that?
20. The happy.
Okay.
And how do you
Happiness
pursue it?
for me would be to be healthy and in shape again. Oh, we already answered that one. 21.
Okay. How do you define success in life?
Having the means to love yourself and your family and being able to provide and care for them. I don't know how to pursue it anymore.
What core values guide your actions and decisions?
I would like to think that my values are to treat everyone with kindness. I would like to think I have empathy, but I have come to discover that I can sometimes be oblivious to other people's feelings / perspectives.
Do you have a personal philosophy that shapes your outlook on life?
And this is very much his generation and the way the generation before him brought him up. I think that I live off two philosophies. It is what it is, and no worries.
Means no worries for the rest of your days.
Talk about being off topic, Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matatas. 24. What do you think the purpose of life is?
I don't believe there is a purpose, but I hope to help people and one day achieve happiness.
Have you ever thought about harming yourself?
When I was a teenager, I did, but never as an adult.
Have you ever thought about killing yourself?
Same as 25. He thought about it as a teenager, but not as an adult.
If you have, what stopped you and what made you want to stay alive?
Knowing how much it would affect my family and friends. And then, of course, the last answer, how being raised for his generation has it made him outlook and view mental health. He says, I think I was raised in a generation of get over it and move on. Stop crying, or I'll give you something to cry about, all of which is true. Which are not things I disagree with. I don't know where I got the mentality of if I tell people about my problems, that I'm causing them an inconvenience or bothering them. But I do have that mentality, even if I know it is not true. I know that if I had a friend struggling, that I would do anything to help them and would want them to reach out and would openly encourage them to talk to me so I could help. I'm going to pause right there because that is 100% true. This man will give you, like the last shirt he has on his back, he will help you out financially and not harass you to pay him back type of thing. This person, I never expected last month to come to my grandmother's funeral. But he specifically took the day off of work to be there for me and be there for my daughter. And he's done more for my daughter and I, gosh, in the last like 8 years than anyone outside of Katie has ever done for me and outside of blood family. So he 100% is that type of person. And I also know that he does immensely struggle with asking for help, even if he's in a relationship with you. He does not want you to worry about him or be weighed down by whatever is bothering him. And I can say that because he and I used to date. It takes a lot for him to reach out and physically say, I need help, or just to do so. And I will give an example of that. It was a Halloween one year, and he may not be too happy I'm sharing about this, but I'll keep it very basic. We were dating, and we lived over an hour away from where my daughter was going trick-or-treating with my parents, and I was with her. And he was pulling a double shift, and he had a very bad call. And unfortunately, it was the first half of a double shift, and he had lost a patient a little bit older than my daughter was at the time. And kids have always affected him. And he he broke down in tears. And I could tell something was wrong the second he called me, and I picked up the phone because of the shuddering breaths you get when you're so upset. And he broke down and he told me, and I was in an instant going to not go trick-or-treating with my daughter and race home. And I tried to coax him to not do the second half of his shift, the double shift and everything else, and take the time that he needs to decompress after witnessing something like that. And he's like, I can't. I don't. I just needed to hear your voice. I needed someone to tell me that it's going to be okay, knowing that it's not going to be okay, and knowing I would never understand what he goes through and what he sees at work. But for him to just want to hear someone tell him it's going to be okay and just have that ability to break down from something so devastating, he did exactly what he does. Um, he got over it and moved on so he could complete his second half of his double shift and continue saving lives. But it's stuff like that I know makes him a great person, and I truly wish he saw himself the way others see him, and he took his own advice and would let others help him, because he is so amazing at being there for others and giving like the best hugs and great advice, and just being the person where you can literally do what I'm doing and just talk, and he doesn't judge you for it. He'll crack jokes, inappropriate jokes or anything, just to relieve the tension. But he's truly amazing, and I will always love him, and I am his biggest cheerleader outside of his own mom and sister and tias and auntios and stuff like that. But anyways, continuing on. He's like, I know I have friends and family that would love to support me. I just don't like to share my feelings or struggles and don't want to feel like a burden. See, told you. I hate to feel weak, or even worse, perceived as weak. I don't want to be thought of as someone who needs help. I can get by on my own. And that's a lot of mentality, unfortunately, with men. And those generational traumas constantly get passed down, where it is, why are you crying? I'm going to give you something to cry about. Because we were raised that way too. Just like with the whole children should be seen and not heard. There's so many other things that we could say. But for men, they literally it gets drilled in from them from the time they can start talking back, what is expected of them. And yeah, they're the generation before them maybe of course got it worse, because that generation was raised by the generation that fought in Korea or fought in World War II, depending on the age of your parents and stuff like that. So it's very much it falls down the line, and then of course you have those people who were your grandparents, and then your great grandparents and your great great grandparents, and how hard they struggled with in the early 1900s and the late 1800s, and it's very much men aren't with their mental health, and their feelings aren't being as progressive as women are. They're still very, very conservative. And even those who are, part of LGBTQ, they have this fear of coming out because of the stigma that men face. And you're not allowed to be feminine. You're not allowed to cry. You're not allowed to wear makeup, or, like with our emo friends, wear black nail polish because nail polish is meant for women type of thing. Men face a lot of stuff that I don't think women give them credit for, especially in this day and age where a lot of women, especially here in America, are all about feminism and being independent and not needing a man, and men are shit type of thing. And that's not the case. Like, just like with everything, and we've talked about this before in previous episodes, you can have one bad apple. And unfortunately, that one bad apple will then forever cloud someone's opinion and judgment. And they will then forever look towards someone through a view of confirmation bias, of they want to confirm their own biases about what they perceive is going to be. And so men, unfortunately, get shit on 110-fold, just like if men report abuse or rape or anything else. And guess what? Unfortunately, most of our police force, or the majority of it, is men. And what happens is they're like, well, why didn't you defend yourself? Or if you did defend yourself, you're no longer the victim because you're defending yourself.
You're an abuser.
You're an abuser because you're defending yourself against a woman, and a woman who is smaller than you. You automatically become the abuser instead of the victim just because of your gender.
Which is I think is stupid. Like, you shouldn't be put down. Like, okay, if a guy goes and reports that he was raped, instead of a cop asking, well, why didn't you defend yourself? Why couldn't you stop it?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and
why not give
raped.
sympathy?
A woman is smaller than you. You could have easily defended yourself. Why'd you let it happen?
Because I didn't want to hurt said woman.
I was raised better. I was raised not to put my hands on a woman.
Exactly. And it's
you're
it's a
damned
stereotype.
if you do, and you're damned if you don't.
And it's stupid.
It really, really is. I will say that there are some bands out there that are trying to bring awareness to stuff like that. One band in particular that comes to the top of my mind is called Where It Lies. Shout out to Where It Lies.
Stay positive, guys.
Stay positive. That is their biggest thing that they promote on their merch, is stay positive. And their lyrics, if you love like metal, emo, stuff like that, I don't even know like the proper genre for them. They're very alternative. I will give you that.
It's like a chameleon of like emo,
100%.
Metal, and stuff. That's the best way I can describe it. It's chameleon.
They're very much a chameleon band.
Because I'm not big on music like that, but theirs, it's just like, okay, I could sit there and headbang to this, or I could sit there and just kind of move my body to it. It's great.
But that band not only promoted Men's Mental Health Awareness Month and made it very clear of what men go through and the statistics and stuff. They also show it with the lyrics and the songs they put out there into the world. But it's also not just for men. It's for any gender, for any age group. If you listen to those lyrics,
they hit hard.
They do. There are so many other bands, but that one comes to the forefront of my mind. Probably because we're going to go see them play tonight in Anaheim at the House of Blues. They do have more concerts coming up. I think the next one after this one, unless it's like a last second pop up like they did last night, is July 12th in Walnut, California. So if you're in Southern California, check out their Instagram page and go check out a show, especially if you're a man and you like this music.
Or if you can't remember it, I'm sure as we promote them not only on our personal page, but we'll promote them on our pages as well.
100%. We
like their message. Oh. Simple as that.
Yeah. 100%.
And you will too.
Yeah. If you see this and you're a man, or even if you're a female, check in on your friends.
Poke and prod. Especially if you know them.
And even if it may feel like you're overstepping your bounds, still do it. Because those sometimes with the biggest smiles
are the ones that are hurting the most inside.
And could be the ones that you don't get a chance to say what you want to say tomorrow because they're gone today. And definitely, if you're a parent, if you're a big brother, if you're an uncle, grandpa, dad, check on your little ones. This world is so incredibly cruel, and more children are committing suicide. More and more children are facing bullying on a level that our generation and generations before us never did because of internet and social media and all of the things they see. I mean, we're raising 2 teenage girls, and of course we have our nephew. And we've talked, and we're gonna do a family session of watching 13 Reasons Why and cover some really tough topics that, sometimes as a parent or a loved one, it's hard to broach. So being able to have the ability to watch something like that and open the door to have those types of conversations is the best segue. There's also a Netflix original movie that came out in like 2023 called Nimona.
Great movie.
If you have a child that's old enough to talk about mental health, let them watch that, because that is a great way for a child to be able to open up about their feelings, because maybe that'll tell them how to express what they're feeling when they don't know how to express it themselves.
Facts.
And again, we're women. We can promote men's mental health awareness. We can promote and prod and be there for the men in our lives that we love, and want more for, and want to make sure that they're healthy. But we will never know what you guys go through. It is so much easier, yet so much harder at the same time, to be a woman than it is to be a man in some ways. But when it comes to feelings and emotions, men have it a million times harder than us females do. And we hope,
even to our near and dear, like we will have to sit there and poke and prod, or we have to kind of beat around the bush or gently work our way to kind of get a sense of, why they are feeling that type of way.
mm-hmm.
Or you can just feel their energy. Your energy's off. What's going on? Like, did something happen today? Did something happen yesterday?
And don't let them get away with I don't want to talk about it. Don't worry about it. It is what it is type of thing. They say any of those lines, you tell them, no, we're going to sit down now and we're going to do a check-in, because I'm not going to accept those answers. I need to make sure you're okay, just like you make sure I'm okay type of thing.
So the equivalent to I'm fine on a woman's perspective, it is what it is the man's one.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is.
Yep. 100%. I've called out husband several times for when he says it is what it is. I'm like, oh no, you're not going to say that to me. We're going to sit down and talk now. And we'll talk. And I'm like, you don't get to say that anymore. You want to make sure we're okay? Then guess what?
Yep.
You're not going to say it is what it is. We're going to sit down and we're going to talk this out. And we're going to make sure we're good. Because we can't let each other fall back.
Nope. We take mental health very seriously in this house.
And in regards to that, I will again highlight that Katie and I have both lost family members into a suicide. Katie lost an uncle drastically in a different way to suicide than I did, in a very more violent way.
Mm-hmm.
I lost my one and only brother to suicide by OD at the young age of 24 when I was 18. So when we say mental health matters to us, and not just our mental health, but men's mental health, we're not lying. Now, to say that I'm going to also put in, as viewers know, there's some animosity between my ex-husband and I. I think my ex-husband is an asshole for the way he treats our daughter, and the way he won't co-parent with me. 1,000%. But I also know he's a former Marine, struggles with PTSD, struggles with a lot of things. Do I still wish him the best and hope he's good from a distance? 100%. Just because I don't want you at my table and I don't want you physically a part of my life doesn't mean I don't want you to have the best over there. Like, I wish you nothing but the best. I hope you're safe. I hope you talk about your feelings. I hope you have all the love you need in the world. And I hope you constantly work to get better. But so to say, like, even with the animosity I have, and for me to still be able to say that about my ex-husband says a lot. I mean, when we say mental health matters, we mean mental health matters. I can literally hate your guts, but I could still also wish that you never go through any of the feelings that lead you down a dark path to where you can't come back from. Anything you want to add?
Nope, because if I add any more, I'm in a full-on like ugly cry. So
yeah, a lot of the questions and answers she saw, I had already read last night because everything was again sent to me and on my phone. So
I read them all this morning
as we were going through this. So she's processing her emotions. Again, these people that answer these things we personally know
are near and dear to our hearts.
And near and dear to our hearts.
And we thank them very much for taking the time to actually answer the questions.
100%, because you know what? I knew, like I said, I knew our parents wouldn't answer these questions. They're just of that generation that would be like, no. The fact that they were able to, including a 17-year-old, is astounding. Mm-hmm. And we couldn't be more thankful because it does show, the differences in the ages. Mm-hmm. Even if it's by 39 to 36, mm-hmm. and from 36 to 17, on how they view things. Mm-hmm. Even the two 39-year-olds, they view things differently.
But the answers were still similar.
Yeah.
Family, friends.
Yeah.
Loved ones.
So again, check in on your loved ones because you're never guaranteed today, let alone tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And with that, we will conclude this very, very heavy episode. After this video of speaking ends, you will again get hotlines and tools on how to get assistance if you need so. We wish everyone the best. Happy Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, and continue to fight the good fight, everybody. We love you all.
Much love, guys.
I'm not going to do that.
Step you take is the longest ride. If today was your last day,